Boxing Universe presentation.
You never know when the next Muhammad Ali's gonna walk through your door. And then one day, this little Filipino kid comes up to me, could barely speak English. After one round, we clicked like we knew each other our whole life.
Few 21st century boxing names command the respect and sheer admiration that Manny Pacquiao does. He is the only fighter in the sport's history to win world titles in 8 different weight divisions and the only boxer to hold world titles in 4 separate decades. He is a bona fide legend of the sport, which was clearly evident whenever he would fight. His home country of the Philippines would come to a grinding halt, not a soul in the street, the whole country fixated on their great boxing hope, the man who put Filipino sport on the global map. Looking at his resume and the frightening ease at which he dispatched fellow Hall of Famers, you quickly realize that there's a switch he would often flick once he stepped inside the squared circle. Many fans and journalists referred to this as his demon mode. But what did this actually mean, and what did it look like? Many boxing analysts believe Manny would channel much of the anguish and strife that came from growing up in the poverty of the Philippines in the 1980s and 1990s. Born in Kibawe, Bukidnon in December 1978 and sharing a house with 5 of his other siblings, Manny decided to make a break for the nation's capital, the hustle and bustle of Manila. At just age 14, he was living on the streets, working in construction and pursuing his dreams of becoming a boxing world champion one day.
We don't have our own house, we don't have land, we don't have even food. We have to work every day to make money to buy food.
Dealing with such adversity at a young age strengthened the resolve and helped fuel the ruthless and merciless fighting demon that would soon take the entire world by storm. Manny turned professional at the tender age of 16 as a light flyweight. At this stage, he was still developing and refining his skills in the unforgiving and taxing gyms of the densely populated Filipino capital. Having chalked up a couple of knockout losses to skilled but unknown fighters, these would soon act as a blessing. Many fighters would underestimate Manny, especially when he stepped it up in competition, eventually making his American debut in 2001. However, both of these losses were down to severe weight drain. Manny and his team knew that with the right trainer behind him and fighting at a natural weight, he would be a force to be reckoned with, and that real taxing training camps could unleash that demon mode which turned him into an indestructible whirlwind of a southpaw. In 2003, Pacquiao took on his first A-grade name, and this is when the world witnessed the demon mode that the precocious Filipino possessed. A man who is a Mexican icon and a legend in his own right, Marco Antonio Barrera. Nobody gave Manny a chance going into this bout. Barrera's team looked at this as a tune-up fight. Sure, it was against a tricky southpaw, but he had lost by knockout before, but in their view, didn't possess the skills to beat somebody like Barrera. Barrera had chalked up phenomenal wins in the 2 to 3 years prior, beating the like of Nassim Hamed and Eric Morales in what many still believe is the greatest fight of the century thus far. So many believe the Pacquiao fight would be business as usual, a keep busy fight. Manny systematically battered Barrera. The Mexican didn't win a minute of the 11 brutal rounds. For so many people to give him no chance and for him to go in there with a chip on his shoulder and a point to prove highlighted the sort of demonic pugilist that Manny was. Barrera's corner climbing onto the ring apron with a look of sheer fear and bewilderment in their eyes. They saw the demon within. This was an experienced team, and they knew they witnessed a scary fighter still a few years off his prime.
Barrera may be a little long in the tooth, but he's still one of the best ever. Pacquiao, what he did to Barrera was scary, the way he dominated Barrera. It's the kind of fight that I'll never forget watching.
He's a strong, explosive, fast fighter. Psychologically, it's a tough fight to fight Manny Pacquiao at any time. You think that he's going to go back, but he doesn't go back. He maintains a pressure, constant pressure on you.
You have the list. I am in your list. Morales, Barrera, Marquez. I see. I coming to the gym. I see you having in your list.
For Pacquiao, this was the start of one of the greatest sporting stories of the century, his meteoric ascent to the very top of boxing. He was learning how to channel and control that fighting demon in him with frightening intensity and an even scarier end product. Skip forward to 2004, and one of the best examples of his demon mode was in a fight that he didn't even win. Manny went from Barrera to Juan Manuel Marquez, two Mexican Hall of Famers back-to-back. Marquez proved to be Pacquiao's kryptonite in the same way Ken Norton was for Ali, and Ali was for Foreman. Overall, he is probably not a more extraordinary fighter than Manny, but he is definitely a total legend in his own right. The blistering opening 3 minutes of the first Marquez fight was an absolute barnstormer. Manny flew out of the traps when the opening bell sounded and landed on Marquez at will, like he was a journeyman. It looked like the Tasmanian devil in there. Pac-Man dropped Marquez 3 times, nearly putting him out of the ring and very nearly wiping out the Mexican legend, all in the first round.
In a way, this is maybe the most heroic moment of your career.
I felt good. I really, I know I was down, but I felt good.
Manny, what were you thinking during the course of this round?
When I got him the second knockdown and he get up, I know it's gonna be tough for me.
In that first round, he looked like he was streets ahead of him in every department. Speed, power, tenacity, technique. A laser-focused fighter with an almost demonic, ethereal Terminator-like destruction in his eyes. Marquez felt the shocking reality of the demon mode as soon as that opening bell sounded. However, in a true testament to his unbelievable skill, he battled back to a 12-round draw against Pacquiao.
Manny, have you ever had a rival like Juan Manuel Marquez?
No.
Even Morales?
Not even Morales.
In the mid-noughties, Pacquiao began his ascent up the pound-for-pound ranks, taking Marquez to the wire, stopping Barrera, and chalking up 2 knockout wins over Barrera's iconic arch-nemesis, Erik Morales. By this point, he was very much on the radar of all boxing fans, but it was his 2008 bout against the former golden boy of American boxing, Oscar de la Hoya, where the world saw the shocking reality of his demon mode.
It actually took a very tough beating to get me out of the sport.
By Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao.
The size and weight difference between De La Hoya and Pacquiao was evident on the scales. However, the difference in skill was evident from round 1. Just as Manny's ferocious demon mode had flattened other greats of the sport, Oscar was next. He was losing every round, looking battered, defeated, and losing his footing in the corner as he was on the receiving end of a conveyor belt of ferocious combinations administered through the demonic, determined offensive prowess of the newly crowned national hero of Filipino sport. A bewildered and perplexed De La Hoya admitted after the fight that he couldn't catch Pacquiao. He was in and out with ferocious combinations and lightning speed, making the ex-Olympic gold medalist look completely out of his depth.
Then my last fight, I'm like a shell of myself. And Manny Pacquiao beats me, and he's the next champion. I felt humiliated.
In May 2009, Manny took on the formidable Brit Ricky Hatton. At that point, the Englishman had only 1 loss on his record, a 10-round TKO defeat to Floyd Mayweather. He had bounced back with 2 wins against respectable opposition, and many give the hitman a strong chance because of his size and come-forward aggressive style. Freddie Roach, Manny's legendary trainer, was of an opposing view, stating that Hatton was tailor-made and would walk headfirst into a ferocious knockout blow. Suffice to say, Freddie was right.
So get your tickets now, people, and let's make it clear that the Pac-Man woman is almost here.
From round 1, Manny displayed that demon mode we witnessed in the first Marquez fight, bludgeoning Hatton, having him scrambling all around the ring in the first round, and hurting him with every shot that he landed. Manny's 2-round destruction of Hatton won the coveted Ring Magazine KO of the Year. But it was the complete ease with which he dispatched Ricky that propelled him to the top of the P for P rankings. For many, crowned him as the fighter of the decade. Multiple journalists and fans believe this was Manny's demon mode in final form, rendering a 2-weight world champion, the man who dethroned Costa Tzu, completely unconscious in just 2 brutal rounds.
Would you take your hats off to him as a great champion?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like I'd rather have been knocked out, in 2 rounds than have somebody that has outclassed me for a full duration. Yeah. Maybe it could have been different, but I mean, that's boxing. 1 punch, that's all it's set. Yeah.
Many fighters have commented on the shocking reality of Manny's demon mode. From the outside looking in, Pacquiao didn't seem to have the physique or the frame to inflict significant damage on fighters much naturally bigger than him. But this Pacquiao, from the first Barrera win in 2003 to his world title triumph against Antonio Margarito in 2010, in his 8th weight class, was the demon operating on all cylinders and the crowning achievement of his astonishing career. He is known for his quiet, friendly, and approachable personality outside the ring. This is likely what made his demon mode so shocking to his opponent. He didn't carry this bad boy persona with him the same way other fighters of his generation did, such as Adrian Broner or Floyd Mayweather. Pacquiao's approachability and timid demeanor made him a big hit in his homeland and endeared him to millions of boxing fans in the world.
I experienced that life that to have nothing. Even if I am the richest man in the world, I always feel the hearts of the poor people.
The debate will always rage on, but there's a strong case for Pacquiao, who knocked out Ricky Hatton as the peak 147-pound fighter of this century so far. Sure, Mayweather did defeat Manny in 2015, a fight that happened years too late after Manny's shot knockout loss to Marquez in their 4th and final bout. Mayweather was no slouch either, and even boxing historians and fans still give him a slight edge, even throughout the late noughties and the early 2010s, and it's something we will never know. Could Floyd have handled Manny's demon mode? The sheer brutality with which he dispatched legend of the sport, Hatton, Morales, Barrera, De La Hoya, Mosley, Cotto, the list goes on. These wins weren't just close-called encounters, they were total obliterations, ending careers. And that's the shocking reality of Manny's demon mode. He didn't just use it to get the victory, he used it to completely wipe out the opponent in the opposite corner, putting many of them into retirement. And that should be the takeaway from today's breakdown. He didn't just win, he flicked a switch, initiated his demon mode, and delivered utter, pulverizing destruction.
He has a case. He could submit his resume and say, I want consideration as the best fighter who's ever lived.
Why keep fighting? Why not just show up at all these things and have everybody fawn over you?
I love boxing. I miss boxing. I mean, boxing is really my passion.
So Pacquiao's peak was just about as good as anyone in history.
Which contemporary fighter do you would most enjoy watching right now?
Pacquiao looks sensational as that fight.
I mean, he won world titles in 8 divisions? 8 divisions, 13 or 14 world titles. It's crazy. It will never be done again.
Anything left to accomplish in boxing?
Yes. You know what is that?
No.
To erase the debate of who is the greatest boxer of all time.
And that would be you?
I don't know. That's why I'm still keeping fighting.
Check out some of our other videos here at the Boxing Universe, and be sure to like and subscribe for fresh content every week on classic throwback fighters, as well as modern-day champions and legends like we've discussed today.